All right.
There's nothing against everybody. It's just I just don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
Sitting there.
That's okay. We won't
It's
hold
okay.
to it.
She doesn't like the spotlight.
No, I don't. No. No.
Okay, moving along. So welcome. It's time to start. I just wanted there's a couple things I wanted to kind of touch base on, give you kind of an overview of what's been going on since the last meeting. I did first want to draw our attention back to our original charter that started this committee. It's not meant to be a committee that lasts forever. We've already been at this a year, but I think there's still a few things that we need to work on before we decide that we are done. But since it was brought up publicly recently, I thought I would go over this, like a couple spots that I think is important to draw attention to and what we are still currently working to accomplish. Under the committee responsibilities, number 2 is to provide comprehensive findings along with action items to the Board of Directors for consideration and implementation. And I would say, we've done an initial investigation, and now we are into the phase where we are working on what are the action items that need to be done. Also, under committee authority, in number 2, the committee may also decide to have administration contact other categories of families, students, or staff as they find relevant. So that's well within us deciding if we think a staff survey is a good use of time, especially since it's a free resource that we've been working on these surveys for free. We certainly can do that. That's within our charter that was written up and approved over a year ago. So we can continue to do that. Of course, the board would have the power, if they so chose, to do what they wanted, but as it's written, we are supposed to go until we have these things accomplished. So, also, I wanted to share with you, I sent over an email. I did pass out I think it was 8 items, a couple pages back for me. 8 items that we ended up approving and sending over to the board for consideration. I sent those over to Dr. Grante and Mr. Wardle. And I did get an email back from Mr. Wardle that I just wanted to share with you because I thought it was nice and it was encouraging. So basically, thank you for our work. So, Mrs. Booth, thank you for your leadership and vision on the DIG committee. I believe you are working hard to make a difference. I have had conversations with administration to implement these recommendations. I'm very concerned for our students who are in cyber. The number of students, the quality of their education, their test and graduation rates, and social skill development are all factors that need to be addressed. The impact on our finances hurts our district budget. I just wish the students would come back and try Big Spring. We cannot change the past, but we can impact the future. Thank you for your dedication. Respectfully, John. Also, I had gotten an email from Dr. Durante lining out what and where we're working on these items. So that's why I handed the actual sheet out to you so I can kind of go through those and address what has been already done. On number 1, adding the monthly enrollment numbers, updates to the board meeting agenda. Dr. Durante did already share his first board report on the 17th at that meeting, and that was very good. Number 2, the maintaining detailed records of disenrollments. I haven't heard any details on that. I'm not sure if we started that or not.
We started getting organized for that. But again, most of the disenrollments we don't have access to, but anybody that we do, we will look into this stuff.
Put it on the list.
Absolutely.
Yep. Sounds good. And number 3, for the potential need for customer service training. Mm-hmm. On the 14th, Dr. Grante shared with me that he has a customer service training program that he's looking into and investigating. Once he has that further investigated, he'll share with the board.
Yeah, that meeting's coming up, I think, in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I'll give a report after that.
Great. Okay. And number 4, on the math curriculum, we did on the 17th Committee of the Whole meeting, we had a presentation by the secondary teachers on their feelings about how the new curriculum that was adopted during the pandemic is doing. They shared some PSSA numbers that they felt were positive and moving in a positive direction post-COVID.
Mrs. Donato is preparing an elementary presentation for
Great.
Later on. Probably May, I think.
Okay. And then number 5, the talk about the government and civic standards. I think haven't heard anything more about that. We'll be working on that then. And then number 6, the recommendation to have the solicitor give his input on, how this future ready comprehensive planning should be done, and the matter of with sunshine or not. Dr. Grante has already begun this conversation with the solicitor as well. And then on 7 and 8, which was basically just us forwarding what we found about the family teaching and the positive comments so that they could be recognized. I did kind of throw a few of them, but there was a little bit more detail on them. So I'm going to let that to you to do with that as you wish.
Okay.
But I know you have those already.
Yep.
So, and that's really it for that. So I just want to kind of touch base on those and make sure everyone knows what has been done and happened in between. And then we had originally, when we kind of had a whole bunch that we went through the meeting prior to that and we kind of revoked, we had a couple items that we didn't get back to, and now tonight we will hopefully be revisiting and talking more about this revised survey as it's on the agenda. So that's just kind of an update on what we've had. So moving into public comment time, is there anybody that has anything that they would like to share? Going once? Okay. So the committee minutes from the 3rd, could I have a motion to approve those if there's no objections to any of those?
I'll motion.
Motion from Lisa.
Second.
Seth. Any discussion or concerns about those at all? Okay. Well, I assume you're all in favor if I hear nothing? Good? Okay. Is there any old business anyone wanted to bring up? Okay. New items for discussion. So I have a revised letter, which I did share with you. I believe Donna did share it with everyone as well. That is a lot shorter, that's more to the point and more meets the audience a little bit better. Our original one was explaining these people had maybe disenrolled years earlier, so it was out of the blue. They're hearing from Big Spring for the first time about this, so it needed a little further explanation about what's changing and happening. So this one I made a little more concise and just made it from the Big Spring School Board of Directors, especially because they may want to choose to use this, and of course they are going to be approving it. This committee is kind of handing it off to the board at this point. So, dear family and student, we are sorry to learn that you decided to pursue a different educational path, but we respect your decision to do so. We are reaching out to ask for your insight into the education you received and experiences while you were enrolled in Big Spring School District. Our survey is designed to provide privacy and anonymity and allow for a standardized way to gather information about why families chose to disenroll. It is designed to allow extra space for more detailed responses, but if you simply select answers, it may only take around 10 minutes. Selecting some answers lead to more questions on that topic. You can stop at any time and your answers will be recorded. See your individual one-time use code and website to access the survey below, and the website that has their own private code added in there. Big Spring School District's Board of Directors are dedicated to enhancing the educational experience for families in our district. Your time and responses will contribute to our mission of continuous improvement. Thank you for your time and consideration to use your experience to improve the educational experience of all our students. Sincerely, Big Spring School Board of Directors. Anybody have anything that they think it needs, that they want rid of, that they want to change on that?
I'm concerned still about the length. We only have people's attention for a few seconds. I took it a little further and actually shrunk it down a little bit more. I brought an example to share. Here, I'll pass it out for everyone to read. It's pretty much the same thing. It just shrinks it down a little further.
Sure.
It's just an option that I had wanted to, I think I have one here myself. I do. I can read it aloud. I'll
Sure,
let you
go
read
ahead.
over it.
Yeah.
It says, "Dear family and student, we respect your decision to pursue a different educational path. To help us improve, we seek your feedback on your experience at the Big Spring School District. Our confidential survey is quick and provides space for detailed responses if desired. Some answers may lead to additional questions, but you can stop at any time and your input will be recorded. Access the survey using the one-time code below." And then it says, "Your insights will aid our mission of continuous improvement. Thank you for your time and contribution, Big Spring School Board of Directors."
I have no issue with that. I kind of recycled a lot of the sentences that we already had. And
Yeah, it says pretty much the same
Same thing.
thing, just shrunk it down a little
I have
further.
no issue with
The
it.
one thing I did like about yours was that you put in there about it being 10 minutes of time. If we do put that in there, I think that just because they're thinking, oh, how long is this going to take me? So if we could somehow just squeeze in
Yeah.
that would
Other
be
than the
only
quick,
thing.
you want to change it to several minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Just make it really.
Okay, our confidential survey will only take several minutes and provide space.
Yeah, maybe we should add a whole separate sentence in between that our confidential survey is quick and provides space for detailed responses if desired.
Okay,
Maybe, and then say, if no additional information is provided, it will take less than 10 minutes.
How about we
or
just say,
should take-
we estimate
we estimate it would
the survey will take approximately 10 minutes. If they choose to spend more time
Yeah,
on it,
which is-
they can.
Yeah,
That's their
when
prerogative.
they write, I mean, and a lot of what we got before is if they decide to write a 10-minute paragraph,
They were all right with that.
we'll take approximately 10 minutes?
Yeah, approximately 10
We
minutes.
did
That
And
have
then
sounds good.
just,
write a paragraph.
Oh, we had a lot of people writing
Yeah.
a lot of things,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
But I think
that's-
that just-
And that's good for them, to
Yeah.
be able to get that out and share their story. And so that will be their choice to add more, so.
So then it goes, our confidential survey is quick and provides space for detailed responses if desired. We estimate the survey will take approximately 10 minutes. Do you want to say 10 minutes in time, 10 minutes? Just
To
10
complete.
minutes to complete?
To complete.
I like that. Okay. We estimate the survey will take approximately 10 minutes to complete. Some answers lead to additional questions, but you can stop at any time and your input will be recorded.
Okay,
Okay?
good,
All right.
okay. Anybody else have anything to add to that? Okay. If we're happy with it, we could go ahead and motion for this separately because this will be kind of a bigger deal. Do you want to motion that the letter as Lisa presented with the extra sentence as presented to move forward with that?
I'll motion that.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion on it? If not, I'll assume you're voting in the affirmative if I don't hear any negatives. Okay, so on to the second item on there, which is about the survey itself. Now, I went through, I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. Some of it was no longer applicable. Of course, where I didn't like put a line across through it, but I removed the things about the mask. This is people disenrolling for this school year. That's old news. It does not
Right.
apply anymore.
Yeah.
I did, and I tried to, I think everywhere I added something new, I put it in red because I wanted to be able to find it myself later, but I added discipline and respect to the original menu group of possible reasons, just because of those being things that we heard a lot of in the paragraphs. Is there anything else that you think needs added? We'll just take these kind of section by section, and then we can talk more, or you guys can throw out what you want. But for this section particularly, these first questions, I think that's a big one. Does anybody have anything you want to talk about with that?
I do. Can we start with the top part?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I kind of did an overhaul on it. I tried to make it look a little more professional, and again, I brought copies for everybody.
Okay, good.
I'm
Good job,
over
Lisa.
prepared. Okay, here.
Thank you for being prepared.
yes.
My favorite.
I thought it gave a little bit more of an eye appeal for anybody
I
that.
prefer that much more over, oh, I don't like this. It doesn't have, it's not good
Yeah.
grammar. Okay, well, tell me what. Show me. Tell me what you want to say. That's excellent.
Okay, so basically what it is it separates it out into kind of like categories. It opens up saying Big Spring School District Disenrollment Survey, and then it has a welcome message. It says, welcome to the Big Spring School District Survey for families who have disenrolled from the district. We appreciate you taking a few moments to complete the survey. And then it goes into another category. Can you guys see it all what I'm talking about? I have it set into segments. All right. And then it has purpose of the survey. Your feedback is invaluable in helping us identify and address any challenges you may have encountered. This survey is designed to gather data that will improve the experience of district families. Your participation will provide valuable insights that will guide our initiatives and help us address any concerns. And then the next section is our commitment. And then it says Big Spring School District's Board of Directors are dedicated to enhancing the educational experience for district families. We are committed to continuous improvement and believe that your feedback is crucial in achieving this goal. And then the last part is a thank you message, and it says, thank you for contributing to our mission of continuous improvement. Your input helps us create a better environment for current and future students at the Big Spring School District. I just thought it looked a little more eye-appealing. It was a little more inviting
This would be translated into the survey.
Yeah, it would just be like the
itself.
beginning,
very
yeah,
beginning.
like the opening page. When they
So
open the
maybe
survey, that's
we'll
what's
know.
there.
I mean, I assume we can, it may not look, it's not gonna look like this quite. I
Yeah.
know this was like in 2 different paragraphs, and I think there was like an initial paragraph, and then there was like a kind of a secondary
Yeah.
paragraph, and I kind
I
of
can
just
make it close.
shortened it.
I
Yeah.
can get it close.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a suggestion.
Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that it separates it out.
It's a little
Makes
easier
short-
to read, yeah.
Yeah. I'm one of those people with a short attention span, so I do appreciate small blocks of information versus large.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
that's good. Okay, anybody else, any comments on that? We like that?
I like it.
Substitute the opening to Lisa's opening. And we'll just work through, and then we'll
Yep.
just
Do one.
I
move
have
it all
stuff
at
the whole
once
way
with
through,
the
yeah.
changes. But I'm gonna write that in as, unless there's anybody that is objecting to
Yeah.
that right now, we'll just write that in, and then we'll kind of just approve it all at once.
Yeah.
That sounds
To
good.
save a little extra work.
Now we're on the first area, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
I noticed in the whole way through the survey, you have like, for instance, the first question: what were your primary reasons for disenrolling for Big Spring? Then the next line says, check all that apply, and then the next line after that says, please choose.
That is simply because of the way I think it came off of the survey. Like, it doesn't look weird on the survey.
Because it looks repetitive.
Yeah, it's not, it doesn't actually.
So it's
look
not
like-
at all.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, the one place I saw that and I took it out, but it was specifically copied and pasted out of what the survey was.
Is it a different
when
page?
I first,
Or is it all the same page? Because it's just like the same
I think
thing
how it
over and
looks.
over.
I guess I could pull it up and
What,
look.
which section are you talking about?
All of them, every section, it has a
says,
question.
check all that apply, and then it
Oh.
says, please choose all that
Choose
apply.
all.
But
That, that's the choose all apply is a help thing, so it only
Oh,
shows up if they hit a
Okay.
help button.
I knew there was
Oh.
something that it was like, in there
Okay.
that it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, another thing I noticed that we have three
It didn't
different.
really look like that on the survey.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have 3 different directives we're using throughout the entire survey. Like in the beginning, there's a check all. Later on, you see choose, and then later on, you see select. And I think if we just pick one term and follow the whole way through, it looks a lot more professional. I use select because you had used select in your new ones you added on, and I really liked that. But I just noticed that, and I think we should clean that up because it just looks better, I think.
Okay.
Keep the language consistent.
Yeah. So we just need to choose which term we want to use and stick with it the whole way through.
That makes sense.
So I guess we need to decide which term we want to use.
Is there places that you can only select one
Well,
versus all?
Well, oh yeah, some of them are that way.
So
yeah.
select would be good, but whatever applies.
well,
Either
you could
one.
say select one, select all, whatever the.
Yeah, just
Was this
one-
language that was automatically in the survey?
It,
or
yeah,
is
that
it-
was an automatic fill.
Okay.
So, but I can change the automatic fills. That's
Well,
not too hard.
so the automatic fill probably came in as please choose all that apply? Like,
Yep.
you think that was how it came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we might have added on later and then changed the
Yeah.
term again. It just looked funny. I caught it because there was 3 different words we were using, and I thought it just looked nicer if we used one.
I'm trying to find where we had that. It might have been my language I added in on the new red stuff because I was just, typing it in
Yeah.
instead of putting it in the survey first. Which I don't know how far back that is, but. So, yeah, I mean, if it can be changed on the survey, I guess we can change it from choose to the word
we
we
want
want.
Well, some of them say
Select.
check,
Yeah,
some of them
different.
say choose, and some of them say select.
Which one do we
Oh,
want?
yeah, select was what I put in
Yeah.
because I just was.
I like
typing
select
it.
personally, but
select.
And just put
it
that in
sounds
the-
a little more professional.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
So try to change the choose all that apply to select everywhere that appears.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that area?
No.
Okay. Then moving on to the bullying section. I don't think I changed anything there.
I have
Is there
one.
anything we want to change? Go ahead.
I have one. After it says bullying section offered only when bullying difficulty. Under that, the question reads, the section this section will focus on bullying. I would recommend changing that to this section focuses on bullying. I think it just reads a little better.
Okay. This section focuses on bullying.
Yeah,
We can
that
make
was my only,
change.
yeah.
Anybody else?
I
Just
have-
make sure you get me a copy of all the changes.
Oh,
I do, I have a highlighted copy for you. Do you want it now?
No, I don't need it now. I think tomorrow is when I'm going to be doing a lot of one-line editing and copying and.
She'll give it to you at the end.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else in that section?
No.
Anybody? Okay. How about the communication section?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I do have more bullying. It was
Go
the
ahead.
next page.
Go ahead.
It's under it's the question saying using the chart, select the bullying type. I would propose using, where it says using the chart, select the bullying type and severity, 1 being the least. I think it should say being the least severe, and 5 being the most severe. You have to add the word severe after least and take out worst, the word worst at the end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
So it just says 1 being the least severe and 5 being the most severe. I think it just reads a little clearer. And then I have another one.
Okay.
Under the verbal, mental, physical, you see the numbers there?
Yeah.
The next question, I kind of revamped that whole thing. Rather than saying leave a short description of the bullying that took place, I think it should say provide a brief description of the bullying that occurred. I just think it sounds better.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, and then the next line.
Is that good? Everybody's happy?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Speak up if you're unhappy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Do I have
good
a
unless somebody
Do I have a
says-
help section on there that states leave out identifying information?
Yes,
Yes,
and
you
I
do.
have something there too. It says remember to not use identifying information. I think we should just say avoid using identifying information.
Yeah.
And then say use child A for your child and child B, etc. for others.
Yeah.
It's clearer.
Yeah.
And then the
I'm
next,
going to change the word kid or kid
yeah,
child,
to
too.
child. The kids didn't sound real.
It happens when you go.
Yeah. I thought it just sounded more professional. And then the next one, it says leave a short description, and we'll just change that to provide a brief
Yep.
description of the actions the school district took. So you're changing what to the and provide a brief in the beginning. And again, I have copies of this for you. Would you like a copy so you don't have to handwrite everything?
No, it's okay.
All right. And that's all I had on that page.
Okay. Okay.
And then the next one, the top one says who did the bullying. I think we should say who was involved in the bullying.
Can I ask a clarifying question on that?
Yeah.
So it says, please choose all that apply.
Yeah.
It says administration and then goes to coach and principal. Is administration intended to be district level? Because I saw somewhere else, I feel like the clarifier was added and it said administration and then said like district.
Yeah, I would think administration is supposed to be like district level.
Yeah, I think it was one of the new ones. I thought about that whenever I was adding, and I kind of used
Yeah.
the same. I think
'Cause
I don't
the
know where it
principal-
was,
It goes
but I was
administration
like,
and principal. And so
are
just
they
for
going to
clarity's
know
sake.
who administration? Like, when they think administration, they're going to be thinking Dr. Grante's office. Probably,
Do we need to
rather
put
than, like,
district
principal.
administration?
You know, like principals that maybe should be lined out separately. You know,
You could go district office administration, building principal,
So you think
Building
we should,
principal,
does
maybe.
that
Like that.
district
yeah,
office
principals are gonna have it.
administration
central office administration, building principal.
and building principal?
yeah.
That sounds good.
District
that.
office administration, building principal. Okay. Ooh, that one's not on here. I better add that.
Yeah. And our order looks like odd. I mean, but I don't know that that matters. But
And ordering it will mess up a lot of the programming behind the scenes.
yeah,
So
right. So, I mean, it is. If it's not critical, you know, I mean, it
What
could be
happened
presented
there?
randomly as far as order, it doesn't really matter. They're gonna be looking for what they're looking for, so.
Well, the topic selector at the top, when they choose bullying, or it won't matter what order, because that selector will just give them questions from what they chose.
Absolutely, yeah,
So
right.
there's no real order to it.
They're already in the section, yeah.
Okay. All right, and then, are we okay to move on?
I am.
Okay, under the I'm done with bullying. Is it
You
okay?
keep rolling. You go.
Communication section. It says this section is for families, and then I changed this wording here. Rather than saying that have concerns regarding the level of, I have this section is for families concerned about the district's communication level.
Concerned about the district's communication level.
That sounds better.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Is everybody okay to move forward? All right, and down and it says, in what area was teacher communication? I swapped out not up to your standards to lacking. In what area was teacher communication lacking?
Okay.
All right. And then the next one, where it says grade the level, I just swapped out the word grade for rate. Rate the level of communication.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I didn't have anything on that page then.
Should have put numbers on these pages. Okay.
Okay. And now where it says curriculum section, offered only one curriculum. Then the second line down, it says curriculum is what is being taught. I have it changed to curriculum refers to what is being taught at the school. And I took out it covers and put including. Okay, so curriculum refers to what is being taught at the school, including how information is presented, the types of information, and the evaluation methods.
Okay.
Is everybody good to go forward?
Yep.
Okay. And then it says, were you looking for educational? I changed looking to seeking. So were you seeking educational offerings, classes, and I changed that were not offered to not available. So it reads, were you seeking educational offerings, classes not available at Big Spring School District?
I probably should have just had Lisa read over it before I even put it on the website.
You should have just had her type in the questions, yeah.
Should have had it done for you.
All right. And that's all I had on that page.
It's so much easier when
This is
didn't
something I'm
write
good
it
at.
and then you're looking back over it.
Yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't.
And the way it's
Well,
presented
you
on the
have to
website, I'm looking
formulate.
at one section at a very time. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing a
Right.
whole overview.
Yep.
So
Okay, and I don't have anything on the next page at all. I don't know if anybody else does.
And one thing back under that communication section,
Yeah.
it also goes through all those categories, just make them consistent with the one we talked about before. The
Yeah.
office
Yeah.
office staff,
Oh,
building
where?
principal. There's two sections of that.
Yeah.
Just
Mix it on
put them in
everything.
make them consistent.
Oh, I see, principal here and administration.
Building
Yeah, just
So district
whatever we
office.
decided in the previous one, make it the same.
Do I need to write that on the highlighted or you?
No, I'll
But
remember.
make
Okay.
the same.
I remember.
Little side note, make the
I
same.
did the first one for you, so.
Yeah.
I feel like there's less people here than there was on the other one. Are we missing, they're missing somebody? I guess, well, the other one had
I know, I thought the same thing. Why is it?
investigated.
Oh,
I guess the other one had
because
student for
the
starters,
student wouldn't be,
but- Yeah.
the student would be applicable there.
Oh, it's on the same page.
Although
I'm
they
looking way
probably
back.
don't communicate, but that's their problem with their student.
Well, yeah, that can be a problem.
It
That
can be a problem.
I've experienced
Yeah.
that myself.
I was antisocial.
Okay. Moving along.
I find that
So,
hard to do.
That's me in school. I was
Um,
antisocial.
Are we curriculum section, and we're like on the second page?
Yeah,
Curriculum section?
let's see, I don't have anything going on for a while. I'm in the special education section, and I don't have anything on any of those. They all look good. I don't know if anybody else does. The next thing I have marked is way back here. Okay. Let me see. Schedule flexibility attendance section. It's the next page over. Okay, and then it says anything else related to schedules, flexibility, or attendance. It's the reminder. On the reminder that you have there,
Yeah.
it says, as you complete this survey, please ensure that any descriptions, events, blah, blah, blah. I shrunk it down. It says, as you complete this survey, please omit personally identifying information. Your responses are valuable and will be used to improve our practices while safeguarding individual privacy.
That's better.
I like
Do you know? Do you see all I took
read
out?
the second
Okay.
sentence to me again.
Okay, I took out ensure that any descriptions of events, of situations do not include.
Yep.
Okay? And then take out but it is essential to protect and change that to while safeguarding.
Beautiful.
And then I left the thank you for your cooperation and understanding. And I did that on all of the reminders. I did the same thing. I just thought it sounded a little better.
Okay, good. I like that, Joe.
Okay. All right, and that's all I had on that page.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't have anything on the next page. Now we're on to the first question says what parts or parts of the profile of a graduate. I switched it from what to which part or parts of the profile of a graduate. And rather than putting did not fit, I put did not align with your home culture.
Yeah, that's better.
And then I added another section down below that. Let me find it. I thought it clarified a little better. Okay. So you have your select, I think it should go under the statement right here, under that which part or parts of the profile. And then it says, in relation to adopted school elements, please mark any areas, or I guess we should change
Where are
that
we?
to
I'm
select.
sorry. I've lost where you're at.
It's the same thing. Which parts? I added another statement. This is something new that's not on there.
Okay.
Oh, where
Okay.
are you adding that at?
It's right under the which part or parts of the profile of a graduate. Okay.
Okay.
I was just clarifying. It says in relation, and I think I should change. It says please mark, but I suppose we should stick with the word select, huh?
Yep.
In relation, in relation to adopted school elements, please select any areas where you perceived a conflict between home culture and school culture. And then it says select all that apply. Because it says which part or parts of the profile did not align with your home culture, and then it says, is that too much? Am I repeating it? I thought it kind of clarified it, but
Yeah, read it one more time. I'm sorry. Just,
do you want me to read them together?
Yes.
No, yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which part or parts of the profile of a graduate did not align with your home culture? In relation to adopted school elements, please select any areas where you perceived a conflict between home culture and school culture.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I don't have any issue with it. That's fine. I'm just
I
gonna
mean, we
write
don't have to add it. I thought it
I'm
just,
just going to say add.
I thought it
links to
clarified a
sentence
little
here.
more. No? You're making a funny face back there, Mallory.
It's hard for me to, I just process better when I read it. It's all good. It's just, I was trying to figure out adopted school elements. You replaced items with elements and then the phrase before that, is that where?
No, this is a whole new thing I added.
Mind if I just come up? I'm sorry.
Here, I have a copy, just here.
She brought copies.
I brought
I
I do
believe you
better
have.
seeing
It helps
Here.
me process it better.
We're right here.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
My brain works the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm like, read it again. Okay.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Is it okay? Your face was like,
No, I don't have a good
okay.
Okay.
And that's all I had for that.
Okay.
Okay, and then we had, on the next page it says, feel free to elaborate and share more on that section. I changed that contributed to influenced. So it now reads, feel free to elaborate and share more about the differences that influenced your decision to leave in-person education at Big Spring.
Okay.
And then the reminder, the same thing, omit while safeguarding.
Okay.
And in the discipline section, it says, did you feel that? I put find. Did you find the discipline to be? And then line with the question mark.
Okay.
In the next sentence, question, it says, where did you feel there was a discipline issue? I changed it to where were the discipline issues observed? And that doesn't, I mean, if you like the other way, that's fine.
I might say occur, like where did they occur?
Yeah.
Unless the parent directly observed.
Oh, you mean observed better. I like occurred.
I like occurred better than observed.
Me too.
'Cause that was my feeling too. Like, well, you know.
So
We
where,
did have one person who actually said they were in the class. They
Yeah.
saw things flying.
yeah. So they didn't see it. I get that.
But
Occur
that's
is,
kind of
But
rare.
they might not.
occur
Right,
is
it's not,
better.
like,
Yeah.
Gonna happen all the time.
So
Rare.
where were the discipline issue? No, where did
Where did the-
discipline issues occur?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. And at the top of the next page, it says, please share more information. I just said, please provide additional information.
Okay.
And the who was not giving appropriate respect, you have therapists and you have it separated, and I'm wondering if that might cause confusion with people reading it because it's listed twice. I know you have it listed twice on there for a reason, but I'm wondering if it will add confusion. Yeah, it says therapist paid for by school, therapist paid for by parents. I'm wondering if we should just put together. Is that going to cause confusion? That was my concern.
Well, given the most recent concerns, I thought that was important to like spell out what's what here because we have a lot of that going on now.
Yeah.
We don't even really know who all's in the school.
Yeah.
It seems we've got third parties coming in and providing, and it's paid for by the parent at their wishes, kind of separate from us. We're not to be endorsing them, but we are choosing them to come in, and there could be other companies that want to come in and have private offices in the future. So we kind of that was on there as kind of a.
Okay.
I
just was wondering
very
if
different than like we had a parent speak about if it's an IEP and it's a therapist, and it could even be a physical therapist and an occupational therapist that we are paying for, and it's an IEP issue. It's what we have to provide. It's kind of a different thing. So that's why
I just questioned if it was going to cause
that way,
confusion.
But I don't know. Maybe there's a better way to define that differently. But I thought it was important to kind of line out that there's a separation there. Like, not all therapy that we're providing in the school is the same. Some is more of a chosen thing that the parents are choosing that they want their child to have with a third party that's not endorsed by the school. But I don't know if there's a better way to line that out.
I don't have any input on that.
The only thing I would do is put
they'll be
paid
right
for
beside
by
each
the
other.
district versus school.
Okay. That's probably better. Okay. And I don't know if I missed anybody. Like this was kind of a late night session. So if I missed a category, let me know too. I don't know.
I think this looks great. I like the add-ons. I just have a couple more.
Okay.
Actually, it's just one more because there's the two reminders that I changed again.
Another reminder.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's two in a row there at the
Okay.
bottom. And then I changed the bottom. I condensed the bottom statement as well.
Okay, yeah, this is the last. Okay.
Yeah, the last little closing statement. I
Good.
just, do you want me to read what I wrote, how I changed it, or do you want me to walk through what I changed exactly?
You can read it and read it first.
Okay.
and then if
I
anything
changed it so it said, thank you for completing our survey. Your feedback helps us understand and address the challenges in Big Spring School District. Your insights will improve our educational environment for future families. Thank you for your input. Best wishes for your future endeavors. So what I did was I took out, it says thank you, and I took out I took out taking the time to. So I said thank you for, and then I changed complete to completing our survey.
Yep.
Your feedback, and I took out is crucial in helping us, just put helps us understand the address and address the challenges you face in Big Spring. No. I'm sorry. Understand and address challenges. Here. This is easier. I have scribbles. Your feedback helps us understand and address challenges in the Big Spring School District. Does that help you? I'm sorry. I had too many scribbles.
in the big.
Yeah. And then it says your insights will improve our educational environment for future families. So I took out plays a key role in, and I changed improving to improve.
Improve.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I took out the we appreciate your valuable, and I just changed it to thank you for your input. Best wishes for your future endeavors. Short and sweet.
I don't think we need the last sentence, right?
The thank you for your the best wishes for your future. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that was
No,
how
the
you ended
very
it. I
last,
left
thank
it there.
you for completing the
I
survey,
think that's
because
just
it's at the
the
top.
CAN survey, that's a survey. I think that was on there again, repeated because
Where?
of the.
That could be.
can.
The very, very
Like
last.
At the very bottom, it's a can
Yeah, I think it's
response.
like a separate.
Okay,
Yeah,
you might
can
not be able to do
response.
anything with
I
that,
don't know
not a big
about
deal.
the, like, we wish you luck in your future endeavors. I don't know.
I know, I
That
don't
seems
So
really-
just say-
that seems like we're firing
I don't
somebody.
feel good
Yeah.
about it either.
So it says
I know.
thank you for your input. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your input.
All right, that works for
Leave
me.
it there.
I think I left that in there because I think you had that on there.
Yeah.
had to
yeah.
give
I
that
didn't want to make
That's
too many
fine.
changes.
A lot of
Yeah,
the
I've
stuff
done
was
that
in
a
there
few
already
times
till I
too.
saw
Yeah.
it.
So it ends with thank you for
And then
your.
we were
Wish you luck
stuck
in
with
your
what we
future
had because
endeavors.
we had approved the language. And then
Yeah.
I took the language and tried to correct what the survey had already. And then it was like marrying that together. I was stuck with what we had already like approved as the group. So it's like, well,
Yeah.
until we make individual changes, it's kind of what we already approved. So I didn't want people to say, oh, she changed, they approved this language, and then it comes out it says, so I just kept
Here's
it
a
the way it
copy
was.
for you.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Anybody else have anything on that?
If consistency is sought, if
Yeah.
you go back to the bullying,
Yes.
we had a core group of individuals that were mentioned,
Yes.
right? We debated that language.
Yes.
Same for communication.
Yeah.
And then we get all the way to the end and about respect.
Yes.
So I would think that anybody
Well,
that is in the
should be.
bullying category could be disrespectful, and anybody in the respect category could
Yes.
be a bullier.
Yes.
But for some reason, we have different lists.
So you're saying match the list.
I was going to ask you whether you could do other and then keep a core group and then have other, and it could be designated as such. I just think when we get to the respect, it's almost like a leading type thing. Like, here are the people that could potentially be disrespectful. You haven't come across them before, but
No, I like that idea to
just
keep the core
consistent.
group
We talked about the word,
Yeah.
and add another.
select. Yeah, if you
Struggling
kept
where he's at.
And then-
central
and then-
administration.
yes.
Yeah, if it's any
We
of
don't
these
have to
other
lead
people
them.
that are
I'm up in the
mentioned,
bullying
you could
section.
say
I
other,
don't
and then
see-
if they have the ability to write in.
Yes, they do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
If we're
Yeah.
seeking consistency.
We should.
So, receiving.
Every time
um,
you hit,
Oh,
every time
I
there's an
see
other
it.
and you hit the box for
So
other,
they're
it
not
brings up a
giving
little
appropriate
text box
respect.
beside
We'll
it.
just
So they could
match
write it, they
that
could write
to-
specifically who it was.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
this whole thing should be the same, this one and this one, is
Just-
that what you're
Well, I don't
saying?
know
I
about
was
the
just-
receiving. That's kind of a different thing.
Does it give an area where you would define what that looks like? Like what disrespect looks like?
That's an
Or-
individual thing.
I know,
That's
but
There is please describe the experience you had with
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
that
we know
is,
that's going to be an objective.
yeah, that is one of the questions under there. after they're asked to who was not receiving.
So we could easily just change the whole thing to what we had with the bullying thing and then have the other. And then because there is the section for them to write in, they can clarify who the other is.
Yes.
I think for anybody that has a list, we have all the same type of groups and then have other, and then it's consistent throughout.
I think the theme for tonight was let's make this consistent. So I
Right.
agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't need to make any notations on that.
No.
I'll just put like a mark in the area to jog your.
Now, and then the bullying section will need the word other added. 'Cause I don't know if it was in there or wasn't.
I don't know that it was either.
So we'll add that.
Yeah, it had staff rather
Yeah.
than other.
Where was that? Other. What page is that?
Oh, maybe
It's early
the
on.
fourth or something. About the fourth page.
Am I too far?
Yeah,
Here.
there we go.
Other down here.
Yeah.
My nephew gets
Yeah.
mad at that.
Thank you. Who was involved in the bullying? Of course, I condensed mine down, so it's not the same page. Okay. Oh, I see there's other on that one.
Yeah, let's make them the same as that top bullying one. So
Here it is, staff.
It's kind of
Other.
staff and that one has other. That one has
Yeah,
other.
the second one does have other on it.
Okay.
Oh, it gets
Good.
to be a page
Okay.
now. Karen Nash.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine with me. They'll be telling us. I lined those out a little bit more because I was like, well, how long will we be monitoring this like individually and reading through 5 paragraphs? I don't know if anybody else is going to spend a 40-hour work week reading them like I did.
Right.
And, you know,
Yeah.
moving the
Yeah,
little details
yeah.
and making sure we have them in the right
Goodness,
box.
align
So,
it all.
but anyhow, okay, that suits me. And hopefully, you know, we will be seeing like less of these with the, you know, these are just going to be going out to the more recent disenrollments. So it's not like we're going to have, of course, we didn't see a lot in the first place, but they'll be going out a few at a time, and so it can be reviewed just a few at a time, hopefully. Okay, so on this, with the changes that we just discussed, could I have a motion to see if I
Motion
can
to
find
commit
my
the
paper?
changes.
Second.
Okay. Okay. And any more discussion on that? No? Okay. So we're all voting in the affirmative on that. Okay. And then the next item that we wanted to talk about was the new student survey continuation. We're coming close to the end of the year now, so it's time to probably discuss if we want that to be done again. We had, I think, one response. We didn't have a lot of responses. I don't know how many students it went out to. Like, I don't know, to compare, like, how many we even had. Or how, you know, it's probably not a huge number to start with. But, I mean, I remember when we were new, there's a lot of things that you can contrast and compare because that's fresh in your mind. So I think it's possibly a valuable tool. And kind of a way to see what other districts are doing that we're not doing and that people really like, or, you know, or vice versa. But that's, I mean,
So it just goes if they came from another district to here, it didn't go to like new kindergartners or whatever.
right. Right. Yeah, only if they transferred in. Which,
I mean, I don't see any reason that it's detrimental to do it.
yeah.
If we get responses, we get
Which
responses.
it was
If we
like
don't,
pretty simple. It was a simple email with like 15 questions. I had reread it just to kind of make sure, like, does it still seem applicable? It was,
Didn't we have someone respond to that? And yeah, I think it's helpful, the responses we reply.
and the other
Or
thing is
receive.
it's almost nice. I mean, you're like, okay,
Yeah, it's
what, you know,
a good
you're new
gesture.
here, and we want to hear what you have to say.
right?
Sometimes, like, not here necessarily when we came here, but, you know, if you go to a new job and they're like, you say, mention your old job, and they're like, oh, that's not how we do it here, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to have that as realize that is a strength, that you have some other experience, to have someone acknowledge that. So I thought it was a nice thing to do. So if no one objects, would I have a motion to go ahead and proceed with continuing to give that out to this year's new students?
Motion?
I have a second?
Second. Do you want to? You go ahead.
I can second, it doesn't
Kendra?
It doesn't matter.
Let Kendra get in on it.
Oh yeah, fun.
And if we can get this done, I mean, we could maybe get them out to them before like the school year's over and they're like,
That
I
would
don't
be
want to
really
hear of
nice.
anything about school right now. So
I
if we
think
get
that
it
would
out,
be really good if
you know,
we could. That
I think
before
that's
first
school
part of
actually
May.
lets out, it would be helpful.
I think that's
So,
what we did last year. I thought we
I
had
can't
a
remember when it went out,
I
but
thought we had a
maybe it
reply
was.
before the end of May. I thought, but I could be
It
wrong.
might have been, yeah. Well,
maybe the
of course, once you
beginning
get
of May
past
would
that
be
last day,
nice before
Yeah.
it gets really crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. I'm assuming everyone's voting in the affirmative unless I hear otherwise. Okay. I had on here about teacher survey progress, but I don't think we're ready for that.
Yeah, let's move that to
Wait.
next time.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do that next meeting maybe, which I don't have a calendar with me, but I feel like that's coming right up.
I think it's
Is it
next
It's a board
week,
meeting.
right?
It's a
at the board
yeah.
meeting. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, which will be a shorter one. We're not going to have this luxury of time for like deep discussion like we do tonight, but it'll be a half-hour meeting.
I'm hoping to have a basic outline of what question
Okay,
groups and what type of questions will be in those groups.
okay,
That'd be good.
okay. Sounds good.
If you need my help, let me know.
Next item was to talk about the discipline situation. What do we as a committee want to do? What do we want to look into? What do we want to hear, from, administration or building principals, or what do we want? Where do we want to go with that? What do we want to learn? What do we not know that we want to know before we can even? What are your thoughts on that topic?
I think the whole idea was to have the surveys and then use the data from the surveys to make follow-ups. So I think we need to hard dive into the responses we have now, more than we have, and make sure that we're hitting all the areas that those responses have brought up. And then from there, come up with a list of items that need to be worked on or further information has to be gotten from. So I think that a group deep dive as an actual session
Okay.
on what we currently have should be the next step.
Okay. Some of the paragraph stuff we haven't really brought out publicly. We've kept it a little more because of the things that were in there, which I left to Dr. Grante. I knew kind of there would be some of the things in there that were not, solicitors not going to say, well, let's not share it. But we didn't take it to the level of making him look at that, which I don't know that we want to pay him to do that. Is it worth that? But if we sit as a group and discuss individually those paragraphs, I'm afraid we'll have issue with that. We could make sure everyone does see those, which I don't know that I've given them to you guys. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So, I know Dr. Grante has them, but if we shared those with the group members, which should be within law, there's nothing in there. There's no names. There's not
Right.
yours. But if we just threw it out there, it's very conceivable, especially with some of the items that people would know who that was.
Right.
So we don't want to do
We
that.
want to protect that.
Yeah, for
Sure,
sure.
the identities, yeah.
But that being said, I don't think there'd be any problem with the group having those to digest in more detail. So I think we can do that, and then we could plan for that for not this meeting because it's a short one, but the next extra meeting.
Yes.
We could do, and everyone can take this extra time to think that over. I can get those out right away, and then everyone can read them, think about what are specifically the items with, in line with the discipline, what is it that we're seeing here that we need to look at specifically.
I like that.
Yep, that's
Can we change D to maybe actions/remedies versus discipline? I don't know. Just do we really want it to be?
No. The reason I put the word discipline is because of that was what I was specifically addressing, the discipline issues that were in the survey responses.
Okay.
That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
That was a huge factor.
So just that section
That
you're
was-
talking about,
yeah.
not the overall.
Yeah. This was
Gotcha.
specifically
Okay.
From the
meant
responses.
to address discipline issues.
Do you want me to
that
pull
were
those
cited.
paragraphs out and put them into a more readable format? Because, like, I don't have a problem giving the committee members and the administration access to the raw data, but you've seen it firsthand. It's not easy to find.
If you
what you're
pull it
looking
out,
for.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
much
confusing.
better.
And then when I pulled it off onto the spreadsheet, it was really like,
Yep.
yeah.
Are those the ones that I put in? Is that what I put in those little printables on the side? The comments? I could be happy to share those with you. I pulled it out.
Oh, you already.
I
it all
pulled
out?
those
Yeah, 'cause
I put them
gave
in a
it to the board
PDF.
members.
There
I
were.
gave it to Lisa.
Okay.
I can share those with you so
Yeah.
you have them.
I just want to make them into. I want to make them something that's more readable for the other
Yeah,
members.
I pulled them out from the spreadsheet that was so crazy long, and I just put them on a PDF so it read nice. I'll share that with you, Seth.
Yeah, because the program
Just
lets
make
you.
sure you, whatever simplified, send it over
For anybody
to me.
that's thinking about what it's doing, is the program lets you export all the results in a CSV file. And if anybody's ever done anything with a CSV file with a large amount of data, it can become
horrible.
chaos.
Survey responses. I should have been a doctor. I scribble. Can you read any of it?
You can, that's all that matters.
That's my
pretty
area of
intense.
expertise. I'm sure I can read everything on that page and get some dosage out of there that no one else can see. Yes. Okay, so we'll share that with the rest of the members of the board after that's fixed up a little bit. Okay. And then we'll revisit that idea. My thought was, which, you know, the bullying was one of the biggest topics. Discipline is hand in hand with that. I mean, someone's going to come out of the school feeling like their kid's bullied when there was maybe a discipline issue. You know, I recently talked to a family that had an issue, which we talked about. Things escalate when when it's not nipped in the bud, you know. So if we don't have proper discipline before it happens, you know, these things kind of escalate, and then we end up with, okay, now we're leaving, or we're having excessive absences because of bullying, or what's perceived as that, at least. So yeah, and I personally don't know what is being done, or like what, you know, what the administrative policies are that are like, okay, well, this is how we do it, and when this happens, then this happens, and we choose, you know, which consequence is going to
So
be an automatic result from that.
those would be administrative rules,
Right.
because our policies don't get. I mean, they can, but they just don't get that gritty. So most of the time, what happens is there's a policy, and then there's like the feel of the policy, and then the admin is supposed to come up with sets of rules to follow that adhere to the feel of the policy.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be administrative rules that we'd have to review at that point.
Yeah, and so I was kind of like thinking along those lines, like to hear what, you know, and is it consistent? I mean, obviously it will be different for the different age groups, you know, but do we have a consistency district-wide, or is there, you know, changes where we expect more and we do this or these things differently?
I know you can bring them out.
I'm sorry.
It's the rain doesn't
Rain.
help. It's not.
Yeah.
So, long story short, maybe a review, you know, if we could have, this is my thoughts, if we could have maybe a principal or a few who would like to come chat with us about, you know, this is how it is, and you know, maybe you have a suggestion. But and how do you feel, and you're fairly new here, so I'm going to put you on the spot a second.
Go right ahead.
How do you feel about, you know, our discipline and our grip on discipline? I mean, do you feel like what we got with our survey results was an outlier? Do you feel like our discipline's doing really well, or do you feel like how do you
No,
feel about
I
it?
would say that the survey results are, I mean, you have to apply the survey results to whatever statistical basis. I mean, that was completely geared to a segment of the population, not the entire population. So we have to look at it from that standpoint. Handbooks outline infractions and progressive discipline. And then it's a research-based variable type of analysis. and having been a building principal for 10 years, you're going to get 16 different versions of the same thing, and we have just as much of a responsibility to the victim as we do to the infractor. Do you know what I mean? And we have to weigh those two things. And we have school resource officers now that play a role in that in terms of that analysis. I will tell you that my experience here has been people exit the district because of discipline.
When they're on the receiving end.
When they get the discipline, they leave. And I can speak in the last 3 months, I could probably give you 6 that have left because they were disciplined and did not feel that it was appropriate. And I don't want to break confidentiality, but
Right.
I talked to those families.
Yep.
So I think, we try to be proactive, certainly try to be proactive. There's progressive discipline that's outlined in the handbooks, and analyze the variables. And the term bullying, that's a good term, but it's subjective in nature.
Yeah,
Very.
for sure.
It's very subjective in nature. And when you get down to it, I had a lengthy conversation with an individual that received a consequence and really thought it was absolutely ridiculous that they received a consequence because they thought it was just a remark that should be tolerated by people. And it was an hour and 5-minute conversation. And the consequence was, I didn't think the consequence was severe. I really didn't. But still, that individual argued with me for an hour and 5 minutes because they did not believe that anybody should receive. That person should have, why can't that individual tolerate that comment? That's ridiculous. It's not my kid's problem, it's that kid's problem. Right?
Yeah.
Still gave the consequence.
Good.
An hour and 5 minutes later. But.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Which, the consequences that they're receiving are likely not going to be life-altering or life-swaying.
But even in this
where,
particular case, it was probably the least punitive, and it'll never show up on any sort of official school. It was just the concept that my child is going to have a consequence.
Yeah.
And then it's the perception of that particular family and that parent and their ideology and all of that we get into the weeds.
Yeah.
I do know that from a policy standpoint, I'm going to be meeting with our security officers, and then the administration is going to also be brought into that, and we're going to develop, because we don't really have a policy that involves the new security officers, so we're going to develop something that lays down a complete groundwork for them, because it's a completely new scenario for us. So that is incoming. That's going to take a while to develop. And I guess I just started that conversation with the security team, and then we will be reaching out to Garante and the rest of the administration to come up with like a little group so we can throw the ideas around and get something on paper to present to the policy committee at a later date. So we are working on a complete guideline. It's just at the very beginning of that stage.
And they have parameters they have to play by.
Yes, they do, and that's
Yeah,
why I want to work with them, because I need to make sure that our policy matches what they are allowed or not
their
allowed
arm
to do.
only goes so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is if we're being consistent, you're always going to have the parent that's not, my child shouldn't be disciplined.
Yeah, I think
And it's
consistency is a very
easy.
important thing.
It's easy in this day and age to make that choice of, well, I'll just leave. Because when they're cybered or wherever
Yeah.
I'm going to assume they probably went to a cyber situation. Because if they went to a private school situation, it probably wouldn't be any
discipline's gonna
better.
be worse.
It's going to be worse. But that's an easy thing, and we're never going to
Yeah, it's basically
stop that.
it's a new
ever.
dynamic that we're dealing with
Yeah.
as a district. It's
It's
easy.
not just
It is
us.
easy to disenroll.
Yeah.
You can just get on their websites and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Every
it's not-
district.
it's
Voila,
not-
all
has
done.
that.
and it's available. Maybe it won't be, maybe it's not going to be great, when you pull out of the public school and you go there and okay, now my kid is at home and they're supposed to be doing their work, maybe they're not, or but maybe the outcome is not going to be what they anticipate at the time, but it's kind of easy to make that leap.
Right.
It might be looked at as hard to come back to, which I didn't really even think of that until now, but that could be.
Yeah. You have to swallow your pride and be like, oh,
yeah,
this didn't work.
yeah,
That's why I
beyond,
said-
beyond the pride thing, but, you know, then you may be falling behind. That becomes an issue as well.
That's why I
Well-
said for the new laws that came into effect have switched the dynamic of public schools completely. Public schools can no longer rely on they're going to get a certain population of students because now the students have choices. And whether we like it or not, our schools, as public schools, may not have always been looking whether or not we were competitive in a market type environment, but now we have to look that we're competitive in a market type environment. And so there's going to have to be changes to make sure that our competitiveness meets those requirements at this point.
I would like to see our district have their own cyber. And now in a case like this, they're not going to pull from here and go to the district cyber because they're mad at the district.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But if we had that option and it was very viable, even that other districts could
Those
use
are-
our cyber, I think that would be a great way to go. I don't know. I know that that's
Those are
I know
conver-
that's
those-
money.
No, but those are conversations we've already started having
Yeah.
at the high school level.
I know that there's
Yep.
money involved, but in the end of it, if you front that money and it happens and it's good, you'll save the money over here.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I'd like that on the future as one of the future things that we.
Yeah, yeah, right now I have, under the future items, we have the KOLA Performance
Yeah.
and Satisfaction Survey to kind of start looking at like,
Yes.
how, and I know that, you know, I don't know personally the numbers. It is cheaper than it is to say if a child pulls out and goes to one of the other cybers. But I don't have those numbers to know how much cheaper. And then, you know, we have a staff member involved, at least one, I think just one. But there's, you know, there's other factors into that. So what is the actual cost? And then what is the actual results and satisfaction? Are we getting, is it working? Do people like it? That kind of thing. I know I've heard some from some other parents, you know, what they don't like. But I didn't personally experience it.
Right.
So it's hard when you haven't personally experienced it.
Well, and how is that going to look if the cyber dollars get changed? Is that still looking like that could happen?
It's been looking like that could happen for 20 years.
Oh, really? Oh, so it's not, it.
I mean, that's
why they
yeah,
have
it's
that.
going to be, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. They took an incremental step last year. They gave adequacy money back, which was directly funded through cyber charter. I'm not holding my breath if
Okay.
you're asking me that it's going to change to a flat dollar amount.
Okay.
But if it does, it'll definitely help us.
That's why you
Oh,
don't
it's-
count your chickens until the eggs
It'll
have hatched.
definitely
Yeah.
help us.
Oh,
What do the
definitely.
numbers look like in regards to the number of kids that are in cyber charters? Have they gone down from what they were in the past, or have they increased?
Don't know.
No.
At least the last update what is it right now?
Oh, it's right around 238,
I was
239.
going to say 232. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
just-
if you just had 6.
Yeah,
would-
yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying to these ladies over here, I remember being at the board meeting around this time last year when they were at the budget, and they were funding, they were looking at 4 mils for like this school year.
Yeah.
No, now
So-
we're
We'll be
And we went
add
way
a
over.
1.5 to that, and that's what we're looking at for next year.
Yeah.
And as far as in-person students, based on the most recent numbers I have, we literally have 2,270 students in our schools, and which is the lowest we've had in the last 10 years.
But that is also part of population
lowest.
decrease too. That's not just.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to weigh all the.
You know, there's
What's
so
the
many
class
factors.
size? I mean, I guess it's different between grade levels.
160 to 205, 160 to 206.
Yep.
Sixth graders coming up are over 200.
You also have some of the new developments that are coming
149.
in that should
Add to.
hopefully
Yeah.
add to that and maybe
Bring in
bounce us
some
back a little
students.
bit. But I don't know
Yeah.
when they're going to be done.
Nor
That
do
could
I.
be 2-3 years.
Could be years.
Yeah, West Pennsboro, I think, has the bulk of those.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good that we are looking at the things we're looking at. It actually has us prepared to be ahead of the game and kind of have information. We might not have got a lot of responses, which is sad. But at the end of the day, we still got good information and we're working towards continuing to get that's more relevant. Really, that's all that really matters anymore going forward. cry over spilled milk, but getting those. So I think
Yeah.
it's been a very good experience, kind of eye-opening, and kind of also leads you to realize that you can't please everybody, and
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do.
So, yeah, we talked a little bit about the one future item, which is kind of the concept, the Keola concept. Is it good? How good is it? How much cheaper is it? And then this idea of is that a possibility? Which you guys have already been discussing this. So this
Yeah,
is not-
we're
Glad
skeletal
to hear
outline
that.
right now.
Glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We had talked in the past too about, listed as item A is the post-graduation survey. There was a discussion about that years ago when they first started the profile of a graduate. Mr. Over asked if they were going to be doing surveys about this after graduation, which I don't think we ever did. So there's that. But in addition, would it be best done right as they graduate, or is it worth reaching out to them a year later to see what they wished we had done, or, once they met other college students or other people out in the workforce, like what they wished we had done for them, that kind of thing.
I
don't
would
know if
think
that's worth investigating in any way or not, but that has been on the list to kind of decide if that's important or not.
I would think you'd probably get a better response from students if you questioned before they left. Maybe spring as they're winding up. If you wait a year down the road, how many people are really gonna?
It's
I
hard though
agree.
because they
Yeah.
don't know until they have experienced it. So
Yeah.
I've had former students come back and say, "Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe the people I was in class with had no idea how to write this kind of what you know what
So
I mean?"
you
Right.
mean for comparison at college purposes?
College or
Like,
Workforce.
employment, whatever it is, but until you're doing it full time and you're surrounded by
Right.
other people
Yeah,
who aren't
it's hard to.
the people you grew up with or the people that you were in class with, I think it's hard to compare.
So you might
What
have
if
less
you-
response, but I think you would have better data to work with.
Yeah. What if, though, if you did it right after or right before graduation, and the ones that complete it, you actually ask them at the end of the survey, would you be interested in doing a follow-up 1 year post? And if they say yes, you reach out, they're going to be waiting for it and give us information. And then we're just not sending them blatantly out. We can word it somehow like we really appreciate and we want to get data, future data, as you experience the world. And those are the students that we know we can follow up with. Could possibly. Just
There's
ask
no
them.
reason you can't, because I know that Cumberland Valley, RoTech, they reach out to all the students that graduated the year after to see where they are.
Yeah, I just think it would be valuable
Yeah.
for us as a school to be able to say, look, this is how well we're doing with our career readiness. This is, we have this data to show. And maybe it will be that we need to improve this or that. But I think it
And
would
maybe
be super valuable information for the school.
Probably two different, if we're going to do it that way, maybe two different. The first one just being more on how they feel after graduating, entering.
Yeah, and
And
the
then,
basics of
how was it?
what are your
How
plans?
was
you know?
college? How was, yeah. What are your plans? And then in a year
Yeah.
later, so what did you accomplish? How did you feel about that? It certainly wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. So the next question, I guess, on that is that something we as a committee think is our purview to even develop, or is that something we want to say to the board and administration just right off, like this is something we think would be valuable for you to develop?
That would be something that we would hand off and say, this is something that you
That's
can work with
what I
your
think.
I
Well,
agree.
Yeah.
with your guidance counselors, your counselors,
Yeah.
your teachers,
I agree.
figure out what you want to ask and because we don't know what information is going to best help them design curriculum going forward. So it'd be best if they design the questions so they know what they need.
Even
I
thinking
agree.
about the likelihood of response, the school counselors at the high schools stay with those students all 4 years. So that's a relationship that develops, in theory, has the possibility to develop. And I would imagine that a student who has a solid relationship with a staff member might be more inclined to reply
Yep.
than if it was kind of like an anonymous email address.
generic
They
from
might
the
be like,
district, yeah.
oh, my counselor's reaching out.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
possible if they have a good relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's how we should do it.
Because I really do believe they would know best what questions to ask to get, so that the questions get them to where they need to be.
Okay. Well, we have a meeting next week. I can put it on the agenda for us to make the decision to move that to the board.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
we-
some populations are already bound by that. As mentioned, CTC, because of Perkins funding, has to do it.
Oh, okay.
Because they have to justify the funding stream and the career paths that they're offering kids. So let me take a look at, I know special education is another one that they have to monitor that progress. So if I can take a look at those two types of surveys, maybe we can just create one comprehensive one that wouldn't be geared to any population but would have elements
Right.
of it and basically glean the same type of information that we're asking for.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay.
They may have specialties that the
Right.
population we're looking for isn't, but I'll take a look at that and see if we can come up with some common language.
Good. Okay. And the other thing was the bullying thing, which I know Seth is
That's
like
a big
working on that.
project,
It's
yeah.
kind of tied in with the discipline we already talked about. So, what is it that we feel that we need to discuss and work on to get done for the next? We could talk about the staff's survey. That's one thing. And that will probably take the time. We have
Oh,
that
yeah.
extra meeting. That will probably take that whole time.
I think
If we
so,
could have
too.
a rough draft maybe for the next meeting, which is going to be a short meeting.
I
We
don't
would-
think it'll be a rough draft in the program, but I can definitely have a rough draft as in one paper that
Okay.
we can review.
So we'll plan on that to kind of get moving for the next meeting. And then hopefully our extra meeting we can use for that. Is there anything else we want to try to use that extra meeting for?
I don't think so.
I will say I dug into the bullying task force a little bit. I spoke with Dr. Garante earlier today, just to see if what the district was currently, what they had in place. What are we currently doing? And I know that we use the Safe to Say program, and that each building has an administration. In some cases, a group that work towards,
Process.
yeah, processing the upstate issues, but that's all we currently have, and there's no tip line. And I actually spent a lot of the afternoon today online trying to, let's say, I put myself in the position, I have an issue I want to report. And I went onto the district website and I went on the school and I was just searching and looking, like, are there instructions? Like, what am I supposed to do as a parent that knows nothing? How am I supposed to go? And I couldn't find anything. I could find no information,
Yeah.
no instructions. The only thing I could find was the bullying policy and then the policy summary. There's no instructions, as a person, as a parent, I would think maybe I would reach out to the counseling department, but even our counseling department, the staff isn't up to date on the website. So that presents, for the middle school, they have some of the older, they don't have the current staff listed. So that would create an issue as well. I just think we have an opportunity where we could clean things up a little bit.
I agree.
I
get a lot of
I've
people
also
that
searched
have-
through the website and it's very.
There's no instruction, so how do you?
But we do have a new website being worked on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we're judging us on a current website, they've been told not to do anything right now because they
Right.
can't carry it over to
Sure.
the new website's 75% built. So
I see.
that transport, if you add anything now,
So
won't get added, and then it'll just be doing it twice.
So the staff and everything is probably correct on.
I hope so. If it's not,
And there will
if it's
be
not, I cannot sit here with an excuse. You
Yeah, but
understand what I'm saying?
but
We'll have
as
to
a
get it
parent,
done.
if you're searching for something and you can't find your answers,
No.
sure. Most people would think, okay, reach out to the principal. What happens if the principal is the issue? Then what do I do?
People call
Yeah.
you or they call me. I can't tell
Yeah.
you the number of people who've reached out. What do I do in this case?
I just think we
and I
need
try to
better
give them my
instructions.
best,
Yeah.
but
And
I
so
don't
the-
always know either.
There is a linear progression of your reporting. So first the parent's supposed to go to the teacher. Then if I don't want to say if they don't get the result they like, but it's kind of that way. Then you move on to the building principal, and then if you're not satisfied, then you move on to Dr. Sanders, and then Dr. Sanders to Garante. That's the line? Yeah.
Is that posted somewhere?
No. It is not posted anywhere.
I mean,
that is one of the things I want to change. Is
Yeah.
I want the parents to know what the reporting structure is, so they're not frustrated and
Just clear instruction. This is how you report.
But you're going to do that through your policy committee, so we don't need to do anything through us
Yeah.
to see that happen.
that will be through policy committee. That's
Julie, the only other
gonna have to drop
thing,
that off.
and maybe Lisa will remember what it is, we talked about this at one of the meetings when we were back in the room there. There was a survey, and there was results
Yes.
that came out of a survey. And
Yes.
actually, you had analyzed it down by buildings, and then afterwards you realized that you had.
Swapped. Yeah.
We should probably put for a future item to go back, because there were some things
So
on
this
there
one,
that.
this was something I thought about talking about, or thought it might come up.
Yeah.
This was from March of '24.
Yes.
So I'm assuming did we do this again this year or not? We didn't. Okay.
We tabled it.
Okay.
So we don't have
We
any
didn't pay
further
for it. I
data.
mean, we can certainly pay for it, but we didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
I was
I-
going to say,
I
if you
imagine
get on
it's-
the high school guidance website, they've got a list of whole different stuff like Care Solis, and I mean, I often look over there just because when I did my research,
Yeah.
but they've got like.
that's for getting like support for the child, but
Yeah,
what about the
not
actual
reporting bullying
process and
issues.
reporting, yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
Thank you,
partly
Kathy.
why the staff survey is going to be important, because we're going to be maybe
So we'll
Doing
just combine.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be part of the staff survey.
And then
Yeah.
that's going to save the district the cost of that survey that we
I
did do.
think it should. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Great. Okay. I just remembered that we had discussed that. And
Yeah.
Didn't know where it went.
Yeah. So now you're going to create the survey.
Yeah, what fun. Lisa's going to be my editor in chief.
Yes. Editor in chief.
I'll do
Yes.
it. I'll do it.
Yes. Okay. So I think we have enough material lined up for the next meeting to kind of know what we got to do.
We probably should
Thank you.
look at that
Anything else
survey.
that we need to discuss before we close
Good
up?
ideas, yeah.
Any new items for discussion? Okay. All right. So that gives me a little direction for where to go next time.
Yeah.
Second public comment time, anybody? Anyone? Got anything to tell us? Good? Okay. All right. So if nobody has anything else,
No.
could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Okay.